Snow White has finally arrived, and with it the predictable paltry floundering box office numbers that everybody was expecting, and of course is always associated with any unnecessary remake of a timeless classic, especially one mired in controversy, with horrifying CGI dwarves instead of jobs given to an actual represented group of actors and a lead actress who is the PR equivalent of chainsawing a person's head clean off over their religion and then crying because there's some blood on a pretty little dress. And besides Ratchet Zegler and her foul, hate-filled, narcissistic rhetoric, there's the fact that nobody wants this, nobody cares about this, and Disney has spent the last few years completely alienating families the world over with their insidious DEI agendas, and of course their support of hacking parts off of innocent youngsters. So, yeah, believe me when I say that no one is surprised that this film is doing as badly as it is. But just how badly is it doing? Let's take a look. Hello, welcome back to Will of the Fans. My name is Will. See what I did there? Hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the latest box office numbers from Snow White and the 7 CGI Abominations, featuring Ratchet Zegler, and of course, Free Palestine. And, well, see for ourselves just how bad it can possibly get when you do everything wrong with the ridiculously over budget, overly long development and production of a movie that has to go back in for reshoots, rewrites, recasting to get rid of and minimize the screen time of the lead star because she is such a vile, cancerous person that no one can stand to listen to her speak for a couple of minutes without involuntarily gagging. Let's get into it. If you're liking the video, be kind, hit like, helps others to find it in the algorithm, which helps me to help you. And don't forget to subscribe to make sure you never miss out on more news, reviews, commentary, and rebellion all about pop culture from me and the Grift Force. I would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for your consideration. First of all, that Park Place, we are going. Snow White scrapes up a measly $12 million at opening day box office. Now, this, of course, followed the pathetic, paltry preview day numbers of 3.5 million, which was worse than the Marvels did. 12 million opening day box office could have worse opening weekend than the Marvels and Dumbo. Dumbo came out in something like 2019 and did really no business whatsoever. Snow White could be the new record holder for worst performing Disney movie of all time. Yay. Anyway, quite apart from this obvious article that I know is going to be in agreement and alignment with me because it comes from Marvin Montanaro of That Park Place, let's go over to IGN, specifically IGN Southeast Asia, which is where I'm based, of course, as most of you will know at this point. And this article here, which you don't expect to see very often coming out of such a normie group of countries as the Southeast Asians, it says Disney's Snow White remake may face uphill battle to break even after sleepy start at the box office. Wake up, boo. Now, this is actually kind of shocking because a site like IGN, even the Southeast Asian equivalent of the obvious shill site that is the US main one, you don't expect to see them so readily explaining the nature of the uphill battle to break even that Snow White cannot win, by the way. It will not break even. Not at this point. And we'll get into that in just a little while. But first, here we go then. Snow White has endured a tough opening weekend at the box office, securing one of the lowest domestic totals for any of Disney's remakes so far. That's true. It really has. ComScore figures for the Mark Webb, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, directed Snow White, revealed a $43 million domestic box office debut. Now, this, I'm sure, is just a prediction at this point, because it isn't the end of the weekend yet. I mean, at the time of recording, for me, it is Monday afternoon, which means it is still the middle of Sunday night in America. So, it's kind of hard to tell, but at this point, the projections are all stating $43 million for the box office. And most of the time, when these numbers come out at these projections, the actual real number almost always anyway, falls slightly short. So it'll be ended up like 42.8 million or something along those lines. They're pretty accurate, but they tend to round up. Of course they do. It's all about spin at this point. Now, this, of course, is a pathetic period of time at the moment that's going on in the box office world. I mean, Captain America Brave New World is still in number 3rd position, even though it's only got 4 million. Black Bag, of course, made 4.4 million. So, yeah, everything's going down. Everything's doing badly. Pretty much nothing is making that much money at the moment. And Disney's Snow White comes out pretty much uncontested. Yeah, pretty much uncontested to a $43 million box office opening weekend. Now, some people there might still look at me and say, well, Will, $43 million is nothing to be sniffed at. To which I say, yeah, it is. Let's have a look at some comparisons then, because we always like to do that. And of course, in this particular scenario, we can see the blue line here represents The Little Mermaid. Last year, or 2023 actually, release that most people shat on because it was cringe, and of course had a race-swapped Ariel that no one really was very fond of, but it still did far better than any of the other films on this list. Capping off 2023, we can see The Marvels, for example, that came out and was the worst performing Marvel movie ever, the worst performing Disney movie pretty much of the year, with a pathetic $84 million domestic after, wow, nearly 3 months? No, like 2.5 months at the box office. And, well, frankly, they pulled it actually only after 1.5 months, so I'm wrong about that too. But there you go. Now, let's have a look then. Day 3, The Marvels was on $46 million. Day 3, Captain America Brave New World, which also is a major flop compared to the amount of money they had to sink into it for reshoots and everything. More or less the same scenario that there's been playing out with Snow White. They've had these 2 films developing back to back at the same time, and both of them have been back into reshoots, back into re-edits over and over and over again, trying to respin, failing test screenings, and of course in the case of Snow White just repositioning themselves every time Ratchet Zegler opens her stupid mouth and poisons the well again. So just comparing again one more time, Little Mermaid Day 3 $95 million, Captain America Day 3 $88 million, The Marvels Day 3 $46 million, and Disney Snow White Day 3 $43 million. So of these 4 movies, these 4 underperforming movies, Disney Snow White is the lowest. And if you see the way that it's tracking here, it looks like it will perform. Unless something significant happens, it will continue to be just under this yellow line, meaning it will underperform an all-female casted MCU second string pile of crap that no one was interested in. And why does it matter that it only got $43 million? Well, even though the budget here is listed as $270 million, there's no way it's as little as that. The amount of time that this film was in reshoots extended its production by a year. They must have shot past 300, maybe $350 million at this point. Remember, they're advertising a budget of $180 million for Captain America Brave New World, and we know that that has to be at least double. So that's not the case. There's no way this is only $270 million. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised to find out they'd actually practically spent $400 million just to try and get this fucking thing out. And of course, that's not marketing and distribution included. That costs even more. So you're looking at 5, 6, 600, 700 just to break even. But of course, Disney will not get its take of all of that money. So it actually needs more like 800 million for Disney to actually see any kind of profit. And at the moment, after the opening weekend, we are set to underperform The Marvels, which got a total worldwide box office that isn't even as high as the actually listed production budget. This film is toast. Disney will lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Game, set, and match. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to Will of the Fans if you'd like to see more of me. I'd like to see more of you. And I'll be back with another video for you very, very soon. But until then, remember to question everything, respect the fans, check out the Discord link below, and I'll chat to you next time.